All right, guys, get some value? All right, I've been talking to a lot of you out there, just getting some feedback. It seems like we're really getting a lot of value. So now we're going to turn things around for you here and talk a little bit about entrepreneurship and starting a business. Do we have a lot of business owners out there or people who started businesses before? Okay, great. That's great. You know, I've got this one belief that I think that if we as veterans can start enough business, we're going to fix our own veteran unemployment problem because we're going to hire other veterans. We just know how great they are. So that's what we want to talk to a lot about on this panel is entrepreneurship. How do you get started? How do you move into entrepreneurship? And the person who is going to moderate this panel of mine, I know very, very well. He's become a very close personal friend over a long period of time, and he's also been a business partner of mine as well. And I know what he knows what he's talking about when it comes to entrepreneurship and helping veterans. Please help me welcome Mr. Dean Bunch.
I guess being an entrepreneur is a little bit different track, and it's not a track for everyone, but I think, just given my experience, I guess, and seeing the folks that I know that have been military that have launched businesses, I think 99% of them have been successful. So, and I think, you know, I guess one of the main premises is, especially for people who are just getting out of the military or maybe thought about starting a business, is to kind of figure out, you know, I guess what I'm saying is when I first got out of the military, I had no clue what I wanted to do, and I didn't even give business or starting my own business two thoughts. I guess the big reason is, you know, as we're getting out, a lot of people are, at least my exposure was through RACAT, was aligning my skills with this job over here, or you know. Meeting this recruiter who was pushing this Fortune 500 company, and no one was really talking about, you know, start doing your own thing. And I guess that's what we kind of want this panel to be about, is to open up people's minds and not only get input from, you know, really successful entrepreneurs out there in the panel, but, you know, with all you guys raising your hands out here in the audience, is jump in and feel free to share your experiences too. And, you know, for those of you out there that, you know, again, are either transition or work at a 9-to-5 job, being an entrepreneur isn't for everyone, but I encourage you to potentially take a look at it and listen to some of these folks and think about, you know, if your personality, your style, your skill sets match up with again, this kind of career track. So that being said, you know, just real quick about myself, I'll give you a quick introduction. I myself was a former infantry officer. Served 10 years active duty, guard, and reserve, so full gamut, including combat tours, a company commander back in 04. And again, when I first got out, had absolutely no clue what I was going to do, but actually landed in the recruiting field and had the opportunity to work helping veterans transition. Got to see a lot of companies, a lot of industries, work with a lot of veterans. So stuff like this is pretty passionate to me. I always have it. And then, I guess somewhat stumbled into being an entrepreneur, which, you know, during the professional development, we'll probably discuss that a little bit more. So that's my background. You know, I'll quickly let these guys go down the road and introduce themselves too.
Guys, I'm back. Brian Davis. You know, aside from moderating employment panel, I wanted to tell you just my background a little bit because I do have a little bit of the entrepreneurial spirit as well. Much like Dean, when I left active duty service in the Marine Corps, I didn't know what I was going to do. I followed the traditional path a lot of, you know, what the typical junior officers do. I went and used a couple recruiters, ended up with a great company. You know, more traditional company in the leadership development program. Spent a few years there, had a great time. The whole while realizing that I really wanted to determine my own destiny, and took the big jump and started my own recruiting and staffing business with one other individual. Grew it, exited successfully. Timing was pretty good before the market took a dump, so it was a good timing exit more than anything else. And then started up another business, similar in nature, and have since been on several advisory boards and several board positions with other companies. So I've seen a lot of different companies at different growth stages, from concept to implementation, and from, you know, small business bootstrap startups all the way through funded VC businesses. So a little bit of experience, and most of the industry in my entrepreneurship has been in the
programming nerd that you guys knew. I programmed all the newspapers, took every programming class that you knew. I wrote a inventory management system for my JROTC program at Naples High. I think also during that time I was the guy that you went to for fake IDs, but I will neither confirm nor deny that. Went to VMI on an ROTC scholarship, majored in electrical engineering, computer science minor. During that time, a couple things happened. One, the internet boom was going on. We had just gotten wired, and the smart people at our school put all the wiring in, but they didn't provide the cables from the box to your computer. So I made a quick order for about 200 of those and sold about, I think I sold for like $20 a pop, made about $4 grand per semester there. That was pretty cool. Continued on, invested a lot in college, got out, BMI, went into the Army, was an Army captain in, or enemy economic, but armor was my field. Volunteered, there's nothing going on in 2000 when I graduated. I volunteered for Korea, went overseas. The moment I got over there, I took a tour of the street there, and I realized they're selling all this really cool, cheap stuff. So I started selling meat blankets on Amazon that I was picking up on the streets for $7 for $80 back in the States. And the United States postal system was like $6 from Korea to the United States. That was pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure how that went down. Anyway, that was a couple more thousands. During that time, I also wrote code for an insider trading platform so that you could find SEC trade, report them, chart them against future trends. I had about 312 subscribers on Wall Street at $65 a pop recurring each month. I was making more a month selling that software in the Army than I was my entire salary as a second lieutenant. Following that, I volunteered for Third ID, but I could not be deployed because I extended my tour in Korea. When I got out, I went to Fort Jackson, jumped ship, and decided, I called everyone I knew, and I said, hey, I'm getting ready to get out. What do I do? You know, I want to learn something. And all my friends said that were in business, they said, all my high net worth individuals know land. You need to get out and learn land. So I went out and worked for Katie Pool in Orlando and learned how to entitle land, and then started using all my investments and started buying land. So I had gotten out successfully of the internet thing, got into the right time in 2004 into land, got out mostly unscathed, but probably still lost 50% of everything, just like everyone else. When I got out, moved up here, started a property management company, just sold that last December, and now I run an angel accelerator fund, not too big, where I look for ideas, accelerate them in the startup portion to get them ready for what we call second round financing. So we go from idea, I look for ideas, stage a prototype, launch a prototype, and then guys at UT are some of my idea guys. And we're going to be launching one gift in December. And I just was with the Gulf Coast Business Review 2 days ago, and we're going to be coming out in January, and the title hopefully is going to say Groupon Killer. But we'll see what happens. That's it.
Wow. That's it. That's it?
It's okay. Yeah, it is. You said tell stories. So I'll start with a story. I have a book coming out in January of 2012. It's called Why the Rabbit Sleeps. It's based on the story that you're all familiar with, the tortoise and the hare. They start off on a race, the rabbit goes to sleep with a big lead, the tortoise wins the race, and the rabbit wakes up to play. I started asking myself a question in the second grade when I first heard this story, because something didn't ring true to me. Something was off about that story. Slow and steady wins the race was supposed to be the lesson I was supposed to learn. But I was sitting there knowing that I was a rabbit. So the question I had to answer for myself was, why did the rabbit go to sleep? Because any of you in here that are rabbits, and that's who we're speaking to, the entrepreneurial panel, we're talking to the rabbits, okay? You've had that same problem. You've had that same question. Because you know that if the rabbit doesn't go to sleep, the turtle doesn't stand a chance. So why are the turtles winning? And when you expand that metaphor, what you find is we have an educational system now that has been literally slowed down to make sure that the turtles don't fall out of the race. And in the meantime, the rabbits who could be making the changes, the rabbits who make society grow and push and move forward and challenge the status quo, the rabbits are being told, you're smart, you'll figure it out, you don't need any help. Okay? Well, you know what happens when you do that? When you tell a rabbit, you're smart, you can do anything. That's what they do. They try this, and they try this, and they try this, and they go, oh man, well let me try this. And before you know it, their future is limited by their past choices because they didn't have adequate direction on how to make the right choices to begin with. And then, when they get tired and exhausted, they lay down and take a nap, figure they've got plenty of time, and then they wake up, and the C student who came out of high school figuring, I got one shot, I better sit down, warm a chair, and suck air until I get this right, has the house, the car, the amenities, the kids, the trips. They've got everything the rabbit was supposed to have naturally. That story is to tell you why I decided to go into career coaching. Okay? My experience has been a twin path of high tech and high touch. Because my family said, you've got good grades in math and good grades in science. You know what? We're coming up on the 1980s. The world needs engineers, and the world really needs black engineers. You should go into engineering. So I found myself at Georgia Tech, which was only about the worst place I could have ever been for my personality. I had zero interest, okay? Just to make it clear for you. That means I can ignore it. Okay. Career counseling for me in high school was a guidance counselor saying, you've got A's, you can go anywhere you want to. I said, okay. Well, my mom won't let me flee Buffalo to head to Southern California, which is where I really want to go. But she likes Atlanta, so that'll work. What's in Atlanta? Well, the competitive schools are Georgia Tech and Georgia State. Yeah. What do they teach at Georgia Tech? Engineering. Now, I'm going to show you how brilliant I was, okay? Engineering. I like trains. Okay. What kinds of engineering do they have? Well, the most popular ones are mechanical, electrical, and chemical. Okay, great. What are the less popular ones? Well, civil. Civil rights. Civil engineering must mean driving the train in urban areas. Sure, I'll go for that. Georgia Tech, here we go. 126 schools recruited me. I opened 3 envelopes because I'd already made up my mind to go to Georgia Tech. Okay? Florida Institute of Technology in Melbourne offered me a full scholarship for the first year. I asked my friends, should I go to Florida for school? They said, no, Florida's got party schools. I said, well, I don't want a party school, so I turned down the scholarship. Career coaching, career guidance, these are the kinds of things that can make or break your life decisions. So this is another one now. At this period, and I'm not going on too long here, I'm going to wrap it up here. In this transitional time, this is another one of those forks in the road. Okay? Because I'm one of those people, believe it or not, I did get an honorable discharge, and I can't stand being told what to do. I never could. For 4 years, I listened to people tell me what to do when I knew it was wrong for me. Okay? Or I knew I could give better orders than they could, but they had more strikes and more time than grade. So their word took priority. What is that? Okay? I was a rebel at heart. I'm an entrepreneur. And if that's you, I want to welcome the rabbits to the rebel table, because we're going to talk about how to flip the script and make your life what you want.
Before I talk about me, I want to say I never thought I'd have an opportunity to thank so many vets all at one time. So I want to show my respect and honor to you guys, ladies, for the service that you give. I never thought I'd do that. I'd also want to share that I've been out of the military for a lot of years, and disappointed sometimes because out there, they're in it for themselves because that's how they're trained. You are trained to be in it for the unit and your brothers and your sisters. And so keep that together. And Hal, I think you've done a wonderful thing here, and I hope you all stay connected through the Veterans Network. It's a great idea. I was in the Navy for 5 years during Vietnam. Thought about making a career. Loved sea duty, but I hated shore duty because there were too damn many civil servant employees. They're just different from the military employees, as you may have discovered yourself. After getting out of the Navy, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Didn't want to go to graduate school, so I went into banking because at the time they offered great management training programs. And I thought as being a commercial lender, I would get a chance to see lots of industries making loans to different companies. As it turned out, that's what happened. They transferred me into the real estate finance department. I learned how to make construction loans on major projects, apartments, shopping centers, office buildings. Enjoyed the field. And I was doing okay, but one thing constantly happened. Bernie's annual reports were very smart guy, really hard worker, very honest, difficult to manage. And after hearing this 2 or 3 times, I came to an agreement because these guys were difficult to work for. So there was a commonality that I was just a little bit not fitting into the button-down world of the bank boardroom. They solved it because they acquired a real estate investment trust that was in trouble. And the idea was to liquidate the loan portfolio and make some money and do that. Send Bernie, send him out there to field. And they did. They sent me out there for 5 years. I liquidated bad real estate, fixed it up, sold it. And then after that 5 years of doing that, there was no way I could go back to committees and boardrooms. I knew how to fix other people's mistakes, and I was ready to make my own. So for the last 25 years, I have been developing real estate, starting out with mobile home park, shopping center, gravitated into office, specialized into medical office. But for the last 11 years, I have been developing office buildings specifically designed for small businesses and entrepreneurs. And we do it, our formula is that we provide all of the shared infrastructure and shared services that an entrepreneur needs. For example, when you're starting your business, you don't want to lease a full 2,000 square foot office and have a secretary and have a receptionist. You can't afford that nonsensical overhead. You need to pay attention to do what you know how to do. So we provide the lobbies, we provide the meeting rooms, we answer the telephone for you, we forward the call to wherever you want. We answer the phone in your corporate name. We ask the client, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson's not available. May I put you into his voicemail, or we forward it to your cell phone? But we provide an image for the small business going forward that the Verizon voicemail does not afford you, that meetings in Starbucks does not afford you. How many times can you invite a client to a Starbucks coffee before he starts to wonder about your debt? So we provide all of that for hundreds of dollars a month instead of thousands of dollars a month. So for 11 years we've been watching entrepreneurial clients grow. Some magnificent stories outgrow us and do some wonderful things. And we watch some not make it. And we're not in an incubator, which means we don't deal with government-funded entrepreneurs. That does not connect. If you need government support, question whether you want to be an entrepreneur. So I'd love to answer any kind of questions when this comes up on that field.
Yeah, there's a couple things. I guess before we get into the I want to kind of, as we work our way through this, get into the nuts and bolts with regards to, not only what it's like, but maybe if you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, what resources are out there maybe to help you out. That being said, as we discussed, and these guys up here brought up already, and I think it's a good point, a good starting point is being an entrepreneur isn't for everyone. And I guess, one of the things I want to get some feedback from these guys, and again, maybe some people in the room, but, I haven't worked in recruiting and haven't placed people in, Fortune 500 companies or regular business type opportunities in the corporate world, so to speak, and having worked with hundreds of different entrepreneurs, I think if you're thinking about it, hard work, and I think the difference maybe between some people in the corporate world and some people want to get out there and take chances. Just again, your appetite for risk, and again, just being entrepreneurs not for everyone. Some people are a really good fit in a structured environment. I think there's two different types of people that come out of the military. But if you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, just be honest with yourself. If you prefer that study, everything's kind of laid out for you. You get out there and execute. That's great. If you kind of like to roll the dice and take chances, maybe entrepreneurs for you. Let me say, I guess I'll just run right down. I'm always just curious about other entrepreneurs. What do you guys think are some of the key traits, I guess, if you look at it?
I'll go first. I think one of the key traits in an entrepreneur is lack of attention. That's more of the, you might say, well, you got to be focused to grow your business. I get that, but when I say lack of attention, we talked about this at lunch a little bit, is you're always thinking of what's next. You always want that next idea, and you want that next idea implemented now. To the point where if it doesn't happen, you throw it behind you and you move on to the next one. And it can kind of hold you back a little bit. It can be a little downfall for you because you're your own worst critic. But a true entrepreneur has a lack of attention. They're always thinking about what's next. They're jotting down notes at 2 in the morning.
I'm jotting down notes.
See, he's taking notes. But but that appetite for risk that Dean mentioned is so key, because a lot of folks will say, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm going to go out and start my own business, and then they're going to go to the franchise convention. That's not a bad thing. There's some great opportunities there, but a true entrepreneur, I think, has a very short attention span, because they're always thinking of what's next. But they also are constantly looking for change, and that change, at least for me in my experience, has been the start period, or what we would call the incubation period. My expertise in it isn't the third round of VC funding. It's the start. So that's kind of the personality trait I would think of.
All right, okay. 3 things here for you. Okay. One is talk about risk. The great thing about being in the military is that we learn how to mitigate risk. So with every venture that we have, we're going to have risk. But the idea is you've got to place those resources in a position where you've mitigated any risk, and so that venture now goes from risky to a potential. The other thing that entrepreneur trait has is that you're not afraid of failure. I can tell you that, all those great things that I said, I can tell you about 12 that failed. And you know what? Each one I learned a very important, probably one of the biggest ones that I've learned is the importance of sales up front before you overextend yourself to build your infrastructure or your company. That's something that I learned at a very young age that has proven invaluable. And the other thing about being an entrepreneur that's a trait is that if you're an entrepreneur, it's exactly what you said. Your attention is everywhere, but you have a strength, and that's usually vision or planning or something along those lines. And what needs to follow that, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, is your ability to build a team around you as quickly as possible that share that vision. If you think as an entrepreneur you can go it alone and that you can use up all your own money, that you can go out there and do anything, you're wrong. Because the quicker, I meet guys all the time that don't want to give away ownership. Or I just met a lady who came up with this little product and she's going to put a mortgage on her house to fund her thing. When there's people out there that will give her money and that will take the risk. And she doesn't want to give away 10, 20, 25% of a venture. You got to learn to be able to build that team and put people around you as quickly as possible. And in our fund, we specifically placed a percentage of every venture to something we call an implementation team, so that we can identify people out in the community. And I am looking for people, just so you know, who have skill sets, who want to jump on a startup, who might be an attorney, who might be a CPA, who might want to do that, and give a little bit of time towards a startup. Because you only will be successful if you have all those pieces, because I will not know the answer to every question.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was just going to add to that really quick. It's one thing I've had an opportunity to work with a lot of different entrepreneurs and mentor entrepreneurs, and being mentored myself by really successful entrepreneurs. that I always emphasize, this is something the military's an expert at. And all of you in here, you know, either enlisted or officer side, the general talked about leadership. You know, the way I looked at it was, again, I was an infantry officer. I knew nothing about running a startup or a business or a technology company, but the one thing I knew how to do was build a team and lead. You know, the first thing I did when I thought about becoming an entrepreneur is I looked at other people who were really successful, and I went out and I talked to as many as I possibly could. And then I said to myself, yeah, I may not be a technology expert, but I bet I could find someone who is. And I may not be a startup expert, but I bet I could find someone who is. And I went out there and shared my idea with 1 million people. One of them happened to be Hal, who ran several successful startups. I partnered with him. We found this very successful CTO. Again, the technology, the three of us got together, formed a company, put some money in and ran. So, you know, I guess, you know, in terms of failure, what I see, like he mentioned, people have great ideas and they're just so afraid to share because they think someone's going to steal. It's just not the case. If you got a great idea, get out there and find other people that can help you execute. It's not the idea, it's execution.
Absolutely. Can I take a quick poll real quick? Just because it's always good to know your audience. How many people want to start a venture or have started a venture on their own?
Oh, this is the crowd.
Wow.
Oh, you get it now.
You know, I'm a big proponent of moonlighting. I preach moonlighting.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people think that they need to take an idea and they need to switch over and start it. And I sit there and go, why are you going to sit there and start something that you have no revenue on, that you have nothing going on? And I like to call it the go money principle, right? Any of us that are entrepreneurs that played Monopoly as a kid, you pass bill, you collect $200. You have a paying job. Why would you leave a paying job to take a big risk? You should be doing that as a hobby. You should be testing the market with your idea. You should be slowly building that idea up. And as it starts to gain traction, and it can now afford you the opportunity to step out, that's when you should step out and make that plunge.
I have a question. As entrepreneurs, what do you think about direct sales? Direct sales. Direct sales.
Can I jump in? Because I definitely want to talk about what you just mentioned. Direct sales is basically part and parcel of any business. I mean, the most frustrating thing in the world to me is to talk to a person who swears that they want to start a business, but they really just don't like selling. Okay? There is no business until something gets sold. Okay? So if you don't want to sell, the best thing you can do is, as has been suggested, surround yourself with people who do. Okay? But of course, you're going to have to sell them. So no matter what you do, it's going to come back to being able to sell. I want to address this idea of risk because it goes to what I was speaking about earlier. In my opinion, the entrepreneurial personality, now the system that you just mentioned, is a great transition from the job holder personality to the entrepreneurial reality. But the entrepreneurial personality, in my mind, just is wired differently. It thinks in the reverse of what normal people think, what we call normal. Okay? So, for example, when you talk about mitigating risk, the entrepreneurial personality can't think of anything in the world riskier than getting up in the morning at a time you don't want to get up, to go somewhere you don't want to be, to do something you don't want to do, for somebody you don't even like, and hope they don't lay you off. That's risk, okay? Because you have no control over your financial future, your financial destiny. And anytime somebody upstairs makes a decision to change your financial reality, it happens, okay? The entrepreneurial personality believes that being in business for themselves is the least risky thing you can possibly do, because you can never be fired, okay? You can fail, but the entrepreneurial personality has a different definition of the word fail. The entrepreneur thinks, what was it, somebody told me, Les Brown said, it's not over until I win.
Right.
Okay? It's not the guy who gets knocked down that loses the fight. It's the guy who doesn't get back up. So the entrepreneur knows all you have to do is get up one more time and you get knocked down and you win. Okay? So why do so many businesses fail? What's the definition of failure? Well, ran out of money, ran out of sales. What did I do wrong? Of course, I tried to do it all myself. I tried to work 26 hours in a day. I tried that, by the way, it doesn't work. Okay. I tried the whole sleep is optional thing. Okay. I actually got it to a point one time where my ex-wife, wondered why she's my ex, You know, we were trying to run a web design business in the San Francisco Bay Area during the dot-com boom. Should have been a sure thing. Okay? We were working 12 hours and 12 hours. She would design for 12 hours. I would get up, and it'd be like a tag team match. I come running out into the living room, no shower, pop! She'd run, hop in the bed, lay down. 3 years of that, and I got an ex-wife. Heck of a deal. Okay? You learn how to outsource. You learn how to take advantage of the reality of other people's efforts, because everybody's not an entrepreneur. There's a lot more people out there willing to work for entrepreneurs than there are entrepreneurs. Okay? So as far as stealing your ideas, the heck with that. Stealing an idea is one thing. Putting in the work to make it happen is a whole different ball game. Okay? So you don't sweat people stealing your ideas. You have confidence and faith in yourself, and nobody has more faith in themselves than a veteran.